Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancee, chapter 104. When we last left our heroes, the gang went home from the Amino house, and as Erika and Nagi got back to their place, the sort of discussions, Nagi started to have these thoughts, tying once again to this theme of, like, who are his true parents, right? Is he an Umino or an Amino? And Erika just sort of casually breaks down that entire dichotomy, like, almost completely offhandedly, with the title line from last week being, having four parents and all is fun, isn't it? Which causes Nagi kind of realize that he's been thinking about this all wrong. That both Amino and Umino are his parents, and that certainly won't, I think, get rid of any of the Sachi subplot that might still be around after the last time that came up. But it's a nice little, nice little resolution to sort of anxiety that's been plaguing Nagi from the beginning. Anyway, after that, after learning about the Amino's M1 victory, the gang realizes they have to have an explosive performance in order to win, which Hiro straps a bomb, or like a supposedly fake bomb, to Nagi's head and shoots it down with an arrow, William Tell style. And Erika's gonna give Shion a buzz cut. But somehow, so Erika stops giving the buzz cut at the last second because she realizes that they can't do it more than once, because that's how hair works. And so she somehow stumbles there. Nagi goes to rescue her and tells her that he should have paired up with her instead. And that's where we left off last time. So we'll see what exactly Nagi's getting at here. So with all that said, let's dive right on into chapter 104. You want to marry me, don't you? Which, okay, that's I'm gonna go on a limb. Say that's a Erika line to Nagi. We have teaming up with Erika after all. The winding road to the M1 is going to tie in with the rumor about people who do the M1 together get married. Our picture here is of Hiro in this sort of like springtime dress, from what we can tell from like the chest up, admiring like the cherry blossoms. It's a nice pic. Anyway, we pick up right where we left off as Nagi just announces we should team up after all, and Erika's just sort of stunned silent there. And we see Nagi's just like we can't see his eyes. And then the next panel we can, and he's panicking. He did not expect to say that. What did I just say? What? But Erika tells him, hold it. What are you talking about? What about Hiro-chan? And he turns back to look at Hiro. And Hiro is just there's no shock on her face. Hiro is just very placid. There's an interesting little bit there. And Nagi comments, she's right, but and he turns back to Hiro, if the Amino family has won once before, then I want the Umino family to win too. Okay, let's break that plan apart there. Okay, two things. One, in kind of maybe even a contrast to last week's resolution to that character arc, here, Nagi is firmly planting himself as an Umino. And either he is also planting Erika as an Umino, or he is getting to our title line there, thinking about marrying Erika? I don't know, that's a little sudden, I feel. That's a little sudden. I'm not opposed, of course, but it's a little sudden. And Erika's just stunned, huh? And Shion gives a little, oh, that's what you mean. And Hiro takes it very well. She's very calm here and tells him, I see. I think that would be for the best too. And on top of that, you've been thinking about Erika-chan this entire time, haven't you? Okay, is that true? Because we haven't really been privy to that, I don't think. I don't think we've gotten really to see that. Erika's just stunned, huh? But Nagi sort of denies, no, that's not. And then Hiro goes to Shion, then how about we team up for the M1 instead? Really? And Hiro's just, I'm just changing targets, right? He's not changing anything. Eek! And then Hiro calls, let's call it a day for now. See you guys tomorrow. And Shion gives this wave. See ya. Yeah. And with that, the two of them just kind of leave. You know, I guess if they're not partnering with either of them, they can just move on. They don't need to be here. And Erika gives Nagi this, like, slap on the back. And, like, sort of teases him. Are you going through a phase or something? Huh? I mean, aren't you? You just can't stand mommy and daddy, can you? That's not what... And then he sort of explains, to be completely honest, I don't even know why I feel this way either. And Erika exclaims, so it is a phase. And Nagi sort of pauses for a moment before continuing. In any case, I don't want to lose. Not to your parents. You're half part of the Umino family too, aren't you? Which, so maybe in some level it is sort of him acknowledging her as an Umino, and not in the marriage route the title would seem to imply. In which case, is he considering both of them Uminos? I don't know if I like that either. Though that might just be the Nagieri in me. Anyway, you're half part of the Umino family too, aren't you? I also do kind of like that, like, this decision doesn't make a lot of sense. But, like, Nagi's aware of that. Nagi's like, yeah, this is maybe the wrong choice. And I can't quite explain why I feel the way I do. But, like, I do want to team up with you, even if I can't explain why. Which does kind of feel realistic to, like, how teenagers are, I guess. But I don't know. Anyway, you're half part of the Umino family too, aren't you? And that's exactly why I want us to team up. And Erika's sort of, like, taken aback at that. And she looks away. Yeah, but I can't answer you yet. And she, like, sits down and she says this. Shouldn't you give Hiro-chan a proper apology first? She agreed to participate in the M1 for your sake, after all. And Nagi's sort of like, yeah, he should say something to Hiro before he just, like, drops her. And he thinks, she's totally right. And he goes to the Seigawa Shrine to get to the bottom of this. And he asks, huh? She hasn't come back yet? And it's Mr. Seigawa, whose first name I don't know if we ever learned, and if we did, I can't remember. As he says, usually she should have come back by now. I wonder what happened to her today. And he sort of thinks, could it be? And he flashes back. I was just toughing it out at the time. Oh, no, it's not flashing back. This is like imagination. He's in full on. All of that, like, maybe he's more into Erika is kind of gone here. He's in full on lover boy mode. Now that you've abandoned me, I just can't go on living. And he sort of, like, freaks out. Oh, fuck, did I ruin her whole life? And then he thinks for a second. He's like, no, that makes no fucking sense. No, that's not it. And he turns to leave as Mr. Seigawa says, Oi, Umino-kun, in times like these, Seigawa-san would. And Mr. Seigawa just, like, flexes and his robes just tear off. How about we go around, eh? And Nagi calls back, sorry. Oh! And then we cut to him finding Hiro. Having already found her, I think this is going to be a tying back into the, like, bike riding expedition from chapter 40 or something. Because we see she's, like, tearing bandages, maybe. Like, she's, like, injured herself, or, like, she's, like, giving herself, like, knee pads or elbow pads or something. Oh, no, it's the gym! I forgot. There was that one episode, that one chapter, like, chapter 20 or something, where she went to the gym. She's, like, tying up her hands so they don't, like, bruise against the punching bag. I'm surprised you knew where I'd be. Nagi's just, well, that's... And I was right, she is at the gym. Though I'm not quite sure what the bandages are about, because she's wearing boxing gloves. And I can't see the bandages anywhere. She's in, like, boxing gloves, a sports bra, a skirt, and, like, tights. But I can't see where the bandages would be on that. Anyway, I have flower arrangement on Tuesdays, but I didn't really feel like it. Explaining why she's at the gym and not at home. And Nagi's just, of course you wouldn't. So I take the fact that you've dissolved our partnership. This is Hiro's line. So I take the fact that you dissolved our partnership, and we see she's got this, like, sort of ominous aura around her. She's, like, pounding her fist together. And the legend that the winners of the M1 get married means that you want to make that a reality with Erika-chan. Is that right? And Nagi just panicked. Eek! No, that's not it. That's definitely not what I was... And he tries to explain himself. It's just like I said before. And while there's still the problem with our families, I still don't quite understand my own feelings either. Was she there when he explained that part? Like, what part did she leave? She was there for the I want the Umino family to win part, but she didn't hear the whole you're part of the Umino family too, and I still don't know why I'm doing this. But she did hear, that the Umino, he wants the Umino family to have a win like the Amino family did, I guess. I still don't quite understand my own feelings either. Alright, and he goes put on the arm guard or a punch, actually. Say Umino-kun, and he turns back, and she just goes straight for a kick. He gets the guard in, but he's still sort of knocked back by the force of her kick. Ah! And she just looks at him with this, look of disdain. Umino-kun, you want to marry me, don't you? There's our title line. Not quite where I was expecting that to come from, but okay. So she's sort of calling him out for I guess, wishy-washiness, so to speak. And Nagi sort of takes a moment, of course, and he separates the arm guards to show that he's blushing. Of course I do. And she just, smiles at him, and then he gets back up. All right, then, give it some more. And Hiro, as she's, punching the guards, breaking tradition fires you up even more. Don't you think? Okay, she's tying this another way, that maybe he wins the match with Erika and doesn't marry her, which is, more exciting, I guess. All right. And Nagi is just, all on board. It does. So basically, we just have to get hitched in spite of the urban legend. Nagi does not know that she's into him, though. That's not something Nagi is aware of here. At least, unless that was brought up at some point when he was staying in her place, but I don't think it was. But anyway, Hiro's going on, ready for another attack. And because of what happened today, I've realized something. And Nagi asks, and what's that? What gets me fired up the most is when you're my rival. And there's our money shot right there. That fucking 2-page spread, her fist going into the arm guard, as they both look at each other, kind of blushing, but also just excited for this rivalry. They're on good terms now. They're more than happy to go against each other, and fight an urban legend. Why the fuck not? I've always said I'm first and foremost a Nagi Eri fan, but Nagi and Hiro's dynamic is just so much fun that I can't really fault them. But then we cut to Sachi, who's just back at her place, looking in the freezer. My watermelon bar, it's gone! And he turns to Erika, and Erika's just lounging on the sofa. Erika, have you seen my popsicle? It was in the freezer, or at least yesterday it was. And Erika turns back from scrolling through Insta or whatever, revealing her eating the popsicle. Wah! How could you? I was saving that for a study break. And Erika tries to defend herself. There's still mochi ice cream, isn't there? But I wanted the watermelon bar. And then Erika sort of gets a bit more serious. Hey, Sachi-chan, what would you do if I were gone? And Sachi's sort of taken aback there. That's a sudden bit. And the way that panel is framed is it's very serious all of a sudden. But she just sort of ignores any serious implications, and just storms up the steps. Even if you say that, I'm still hurt. I'll never forgive you. And Erika gives her this knowing little smile. And then she gets a text. It's from Nagi. I got the green light from Seigo-san. Once I get home, it's time to get planning. And Erika gives this bright smile. The whole shoujo sparkles behind her as she looks at Nagi's text. As she responds, we're definitely going to win this. And she says, I wonder if Daddy will understand now. Nagi and Erika are officially partners. Next time, happy birthday. Okay. I feel like that last line there, that I wonder if Daddy will understand now bit, that feels like it's going to be tied to whatever the hell was happening at the start of 100, right? Going back to 100, we've got this, I know already, just give me a bit more time, I'll definitely fulfill my promise, okay? Daddy is Erika to Soichiro. Soichiro gives this sort of placid face and then says, don't let me down, Erika, and she winces in response. Which again, there's just something off about that whole scene. Ever since we saw it 4 or 5 chapters ago now, There's just been something off about it, and I don't quite know what exactly is going on there. We're not supposed to. You know, I at the time was like, is there an abuse thing going on, the way she's acting around him? But, like, that wince was, like, weird to me. But anyway, we might get a little bit more info about that, because she seems to be thinking about that, and it's tied to the M1. I don't know. Like, the way Erika's acting here, I think it's clear to say that she's excited for the urban legend to come true. She wants the urban legend to come true. She wants to get with Nagi for real, and not just because their parents want them to. That's absolutely what's going on in her head right there. But how that ties into Soichiro, and that so ominous question, what would you do if I were gone? I don't know. There's still so much weird shit with Soichiro. Soichiro and Sosuke and his denial of Sosuke's existence, and all of that shit is fucking weird. And I don't know if or when we're ever going to get more info about that. It's a safe bet as to if. The when is the real question. But still, it's a weird thing. And I don't know. It just feels... There's still so much weird shit going on with Sosuke. And I'm continually curious as to how exactly that whole Amino plotline is going to shape up. Because it's kind of been brewing for, like, well over half of the series at this point. But that's not really the important stuff. That may come up next time. Though whatever this happy birthday bit is, definitely is someone's birthday, apparently. I don't know whose. I don't know how that's going to factor into the M1 preparations. But the rest of the chapter is more about Hiro, if anything. There's this little bit... You know, the first half is a bit more Nagi-airy, as Nagi can't quite explain why he has decided to team up with Erika. He accepts, like, Hiro's explanation at the end, or he accepts the reason that Hiro is satisfied. And I think it's safe to say that, like, he was not thinking, it's more fun when I'm Hiro's rival, or I want to go against the urban legend. I want to fight the urban legend. I don't think that was his reasoning when he partnered with Erika. I think he's just sort of, you know, he's a hormonal teenager and he's not going to really understand why he does everything he does, especially when it comes to girls he's attracted to. But he still doesn't. He still is like, you know, he's reaching for, like, reasons, and they're all kind of weak reasons, but they are reasons, and they all almost kind of makes sense, I think is the best way to put it. But then we have, you know, the quick little reminder of Hiro's dad's whole thing. And then we have the really fun scene at the gym, where there's just some good bits. You know, Hiro's little testing, you want to marry me, don't you? And Nagi, like, affirms that. The whole, as she's, like, using him as like, the punching bag, breaking tradition fires up even more. And there's just, like, they're having fun. They just got a great dynamic. They're just real fun. And I especially love, like, the money shot is just really good here. What gets me fired up the most is when you're my rival. It's just fun. There's a lot of fun in their dynamic. In their rivalry slash affection, all sort of boiling together into, like, the same thing. Where does one end and the other begin? It's all just some fun shit there from the two of them. But then, yeah, there's that mystery of whatever the hell is going on with just all of the Aminos in general. The Aminos have always just been really fucking weird. And one of these days, we're going to get something akin to answers as to what exactly their deal is. But that day apparently is not today, or next week, or probably many weeks hence. But eventually we will. That's my bet. But for now, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes it happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!